In my last video essay, I briefly talked about Ghost Stealth and the Assassin's Creed. I associated the first tenet, Stay Your Blade from the flesh of an innocent, to the Ghost Stealth playstyle and how they fit together. Now I want to briefly talk about the second tenet, which is Hide in Plain Sight. This tenet pertains to the assassin's ability of not only walking in the shadows, but of blending in a crowd, disappearing into an ocean of people. We can take this particular tenet as a reference to the social stealth mechanics in the AC games, which I believe is an important core to the Assassin's Creed formula. Going back to the first Assassin's Creed game with Altair, social stealth along with the Hidden Blade and Leap of Faith established the identity of the series. The assassins wore white robes that closely resembled 12th century monk attire, allowing them to utilize the crowd to disappear. I saw social stealth as an integral part of the AC formula, which is why it baffled me that it was not present in Origins and Odyssey. Now, we can argue that since the assassins or the hidden ones were not yet established during these games, the characters have no notion of utilizing the crowd as a means for stealth. While this argument can be valid, they could have instead utilized a disguise system that allowed the player to use social stealth. For Bayek, it would have been great if mid-game, he realized that he could blend in with the common folks and learn the ability to blend in a crowd. In Odyssey, the player could wear Spartan or Athenian gear to enter camps without alerting guards. Alternatively, one commenter in my previous video mentioned the persona system in AC Liberation. For those who don't know or forgot, the persona system is a disguise system in the game. Evelyn, the protagonist, had 3 personas that she can change into, which would change her tools, abilities, and how enemies react to her. Personas were the lady, the slave, and the assassin. So for Bayek, he could have personas like the slave, the farmer, and of course the magi. Looking back, this was a very cool system that could have set a great direction for the series' stealth mechanics. Having this means that we could approach missions very differently depending on the equipped persona. For instance, in Mirage, imagine Basim infiltrating the Damascus Gate prison dressed as a guard. We could enter the prison, and as long as we don't go close to an officer, we could freely walk around and explore, perfectly hidden in plain sight. This could also make ghost stealth and non-lethal approaches more exciting, since navigating through guards will be more than just crouching and waiting for them to turn their backs. Another way that social stealth can be improved is through a better crowd blending mechanic. In Mirage, we were able to use a crowd as a hiding spot as long as we stayed inside them, whether they are moving or stationary. While this was great, it would have been better if there were other ways to manipulate the crowd for blending. For example, in AC Unity, there was this money throwing mechanic which would make surrounding NPCs huddle in an area as they grab the coins. Arno can use them as either a distraction or a hiding spot. The great thing about this mechanic is it allows the players to create what we can say is a safe spot in certain areas where NPCs are too scattered for blending. Additionally, in AC2, I remember hiring faction members and being able to walk with them almost anywhere for a limited time. You basically have a mobile bush or haystack when you hire them. I believe you could also command certain faction members to distract enemies and potentially create openings. In Syndicate, there was the hostage mechanic where you could capture a guard and walk freely in hostile area as long as you don't get too close to other enemies. This was very similar to the disguise mechanic in AC Unity but more immersive since you don't suddenly change clothes mid-mission. Commanding faction members to distract enemies was also a thing in Syndicate. There were missions where you could hire certain individuals to distract guards and create openings in highly guarded areas. So you see, the Assassin's Creed series has its fair share of innovative social stealth mechanics. Up until Syndicate, the series was slowly experimenting with social stealth and how they could improve upon it. Sadly, the choice to shift into the RPG style overshadowed the series' loyalty to stealth. But fortunately, with their so-called return to roots with Mirage, the series may go back to having focus in stealth mechanics for some of the next games. To be honest, coming from someone who has played a bunch of stealth games, Mirage's stealth mechanics leave so much to be desired. It still had the phantasmic framework of the RPG games, which may have affected how much the devs can do, especially regarding stealth. I only wish that with their upcoming games, such as with AC Red, stealth is something that they will actively take into account when creating world design and mechanics. I won't expect Easy Red to be the best stealth game since I think the series is more than just stealth. But I hope that the game will introduce a more complex social stealth mechanic that can be systematically improved until the next games.